The battlefield was covered in smoke, fire, and screams. Buildings had fallen, ships were burning, and the ground shook with every explosion. He was only 19, human soldier hiding behind a broken wall, holding a rifle that shook in his hands. His name was Alex. He had seen too much war, too many bodies. But what he saw that day, he never forgot. It started with a small sound, a weak cough. He turned, thinking it was another enemy, but what he found was something different. Half buried under rubble, a girl lay there, young, thin, shivering. Her skin was blue, glowing faintly under the dust. Her long silver hair was soaked in blood. Her eyes, large and violet, stared at him with fear. She was not human. She was the enemy, but she looked broken. Her hands were tied, and she had no weapon. One leg was twisted. She had been left to die. Alex should have walked away. He should have reported it. It's what soldiers were trained to do, but he didn't. Instead, he knelt down, pulled the rocks off her body, and lifted her up. She was so light, too light, like a child. Her body burned with fever. She didn't speak. She just stared, confused and afraid. Bullets hit the ground around them. He held her tight and ran. Through the smoke, through fire, past his own men, past hers. He didn't care anymore. He just wanted to get her out. They reached a ruined med station. It was empty. He laid her down, found old bandages, and cleaned her wounds. She winced, but didn't speak. "Why are you helping me?" She whispered at last. Her voice was soft, almost musical. "Because you're dying," Alex said. "And I don't like seeing anyone die like that." Her eyes blinked slowly. She stared at him like he was something she didn't understand. Then, for the first time, she smiled, weak and broken, but real. That night, he stayed with her. He gave her water. He found her a blanket, and when morning came, she was gone. No note, number, sound, no trace. He thought she had died. 10 years later, the war was history. Alex lived on a quiet mining colony far from Earth. He worked with machines now, fixing broken loaders and rusty power drills. No more guns, no more smoke, just silence. Liked it that way. But today, everything changed. It began with a message. Loudspeakers across the colony announced the arrival of a royal alien envoy. The whole base was forced to stop work. Security was doubled. Everyone lined up outside the hangar waiting. A massive silver ship landed, its engines glowing blue. The doors opened, and she walked out. Tall, graceful, wearing dark armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Her silver hair flowed down her back. Her glowing blue skin was flawless now. Her face was cold, strong, while Alex's heart skipped a beat. It was her, the same girl from 10 years ago. But this was not the weak, dying child he had saved. This was a leader, commander. She walked past the guards, the workers, the officers, straight toward him. People moved aside. Confused, she stopped in front of him. The air felt heavy. Then she raised her hand and said 4 words that made everyone freeze. "Kneel to me, human." Gasps spread through the crowd. The guards raised their weapons. Alex stared at her, unsure if this was real. "What? You saved me when no one else did," she said. "You touched my blood. You gave me life. Now I have returned, not as the girl you saved, but as the one you created." Didn't understand. "Why now?" "'Cause my people don't forget," she said, her voice steady. "You've changed my fate. Now I must honor it." She stepped closer. "You belong to me, and I belong to you." The soldiers looked at each other, unsure what to do. The workers whispered. Behind their hands, no one knew if this was peace or a threat. Alex's voice was low. "What do you mean, belong?" But she didn't answer. She only smiled. And once again the girl with blue skin disappeared this time into the shadows of her ship, leaving him standing in silence, surrounded by eyes, questions, and fear. Alex didn't sleep that night. Her face kept flashing in his mind, not the one from the war. weak and shivering, but the woman who stood tall in armor. With a command in her voice and something dangerous behind her eyes, she had told him to kneel, and the worst part, not one guard stopped her, not one leader stepped in. It was like everyone knew who she was. They were afraid to even breathe without her permission. The next morning, 2 alien soldiers stood outside his door. 7 feet tall, in dark armor, their eyes hidden behind glowing masks. They didn't knock. They just stood. "Your presence is required," one said in a low metallic voice. Alex didn't argue. Something told him this wasn't a request. They took him to the landing bay. Her ship stood there, even larger now that he saw it up. Close, shaped like a blade, humming with silent power. It wasn't built for travel. It was built for war. He walked up the ramp, surrounded by silence, his heart pounding in his chest. Inside, the ship was alive with soft lights and strange, whispering energy. Every step he took felt like walking deeper into something ancient. She was waiting in a large chamber lit by floating lanterns. Alone, her armor was gone. Now, she wore a black robe made of something soft, almost glowing. Her silver hair was tied back. Her violet eyes locked onto his. "You came," she said. "I didn't have a choice," Alex replied. "You had a choice 10 years ago," she said. "You chose to save me. Now everything that follows belongs to that choice." He stood still, unsure. "I don't understand why you're here." She walked closer, slow, calm, as if she was measuring every breath he took. "My people have laws older than your species," she said. "One of them is called the vow of blood mercy. It is rare, almost forgotten, but I carry it now." He frowned. "What does that mean?" She raised her hand, and a hologram shimmered in the air, old alien symbols spinning in gold light. "It means you saved the life of one who was fated to die," she said. "And because of that, I cannot serve another. I cannot rule alone. I must find the one who gave me back my life." Alex stepped back. "Wait, you're saying you came back because of some ancient promise?" She nodded once. "In the eyes of my people, you are not just a soldier. You are my binder, the one who holds my fate." He laughed nervously. "This has to be a mistake." "I do not make mistakes," she said sharply. He looked around. "Why didn't you just forget it? You disappeared." "I thought you died." "I left because I was ashamed," she whispered. "Ashamed to be weak, ashamed that a human, a soldier of the enemy, saw me like that. But I also knew one day I would return stronger and repay the bond." "And how do you plan?" "To repay it?" he asked. Her eyes glowed brighter. "By giving you power, protection, a voice in my empire, or by giving you me." He stepped back. "I don't want that." She didn't move, but the galaxy does. Alex shook. His head? "No, I'm not part of your world." She finally stepped closer, so close he could feel the warmth of her skin. "You are now, because the moment you carried me through that fire, you bound us both. I carry your scent in my blood, your kindness in my bones. And now others know it too." "What others?" he asked slowly. The chamber doors opened. A smaller alien, covered in red robes, entered and bowed. "Commander, we have confirmed the message. The royal faction has placed a bounty on the human." Alex froze. "What bounty?" The robed alien continued. 10 million credits. Dead or captured." His heart dropped. She turned toward him and spoke softly. "They do not want you to become part of me." Alex took a shaky breath. "Why would anyone care about me that much?" "'Cause if you live," she said, "you could rise beside me. And if you rise, their bloodlines fall." Asterisk, she steps forward, places her hand on his chest and says, "You can run, but they will find you. Or you can stay. And let me teach you how to survive as more than just a human." They called her Warborn, not just in whispers, not only in enemy reports, but across star systems where her name sent generals into silence and soldiers into panic. She was trained in shadow temples before she could read. Raised not by parents, but by warriors who believed in one law: mercy was weakness. She survived poisons, blade duels, starvation tests, and psychic war training. And yet the one thing that rewrote her life was a terrified human boy dragging her out of burning rubble 10 years ago. That detail wasn't in her official file, but it burned inside her more than any title. Alex sat on the edge of a strange bed in her ship's guest quarters. The walls pulsed softly, as if the ship was breathing. His hands gripped the edge of the seat. He could still hear the robed aliens. Voice from earlier 10 million credits. Dead or captured. He didn't ask for this. Didn't ask to be hunted, or protected, or tied to someone who led entire fleets. The door opened without sound. She stepped in. No armor this time. Just a form-fitting training suit, sleeveless, tight, glowing faintly with her body's energy. Her skin shimmered under the low light, blue like a living sapphire. He stood up. Why me? She tilted her head, confused. You've got armies. He said, you've got starships. You've got power I can't even imagine. Why would you care about me, some miner who happened to lift rubble 10 years ago? She didn't speak right away. Then she walked over, slowly, and sat across from him. You think I was born strong, she said. But the truth is worse, Alex. Stayed silent, I was made strong. Broken down, rebuilt, trained to follow orders, to kill without blinking. But when you saved me, you showed me a life they never allowed me to see. Someone who acts not because of duty, but because of choice. She looked him in the eye. You didn't know me? You had no reason to help me. That's what made you dangerous. He blinked. Dangerous. Yes, she said. To my people's control, to their cold systems. Because a human heart did something no empire expected, it made a warborn. Feel. Alex leaned back slowly. So this isn't about loyalty. It's about rebellion. It's about truth, she replied. And now, because I chose to return to you, they see me as corrupted. It will destroy me to erase you. He stood then, let me leave. If I go into hiding, they'll stop coming after you. She stood too, her voice sharper now. They won't, because this is not about you anymore. It's about us. You touched me with your blood when I was weak. That act bound us. If you die, I carry shame. And if I carry shame, I lose everything. The door suddenly opened. One of her guards rushed in, breathless. Forgive me, Commander. He tried to run. They pulled in a man, one of the miners from Alex's colony. His face was bloody. He was shaking. Alex frowned. What is this? The guard threw the man to the floor. He took a bribe. He gave away your location to bounty hunters. Okay, team of 5 is already on your trail. Alex's blood went cold. The blue-skinned commander turned to him. Do you understand now? He looked at the man who sobbed. I didn't know they'd kill anyone. I just needed the money. The guard moved to strike him. No, Alex said quickly. Let him go. He's not the enemy. The alien commander stared at him, then raised her hand. The guard stepped back. Still protecting the weak, she said. That's why you're not just a soldier. You're something more. She took a step closer to Alex. Come with me to the bridge. You need to see where. We're going. He followed her, mind still spinning. The ship's command deck opened like a blooming flower. Stars stretched in every direction. Alien soldiers stood at attention. Everyone bowed when she entered and stared when they saw Alex. She raised her hand toward the center screen. Your colony is no longer safe, she said. So I'm taking you to the one place no bounty hunter can reach without starting a war. Where? She smiled, cold and calm. My throne world. Was the ship turns to jump. Hidden transmission comes through. A coded message from deep inside her empire. Her own sister has placed the bounty, and she's coming next. Asterisk, the stars outside twisted as the ship entered hyperstream. Alex held on to the edge of the command platform, feeling his stomach flip. The alien technology moved faster than anything human made. But what churned his gut wasn't speed, it was the destination. A place called Varelex, her throne world. He'd never heard of it. But judging by the way every armored alien on board stiffened when she said its name, it wasn't somewhere soft. She stood tall beside him, her hands behind her back, calm as stone. "You should rest," she said without looking at him. "I'm not tired," he replied. She turned, just slightly. "Will be." The ship descended over a massive planet covered in violet mountains and rivers that shimmered like silver. But what caught Alex's eye was the city built from black stone and metal, shaped in rings around a colossal palace. The entire world looked designed for war. Guards in sleek armor met them at the landing dock. They didn't speak. They just bowed to her, then stared at Alex as if he were made of fire. Inside, the palace didn't feel like royalty. It felt like a fortress. No paintings, no soft chairs. Just metal floors, old battle banners, and walls that remembered every wound. But what waited for Alex inside wasn't a prison. It was a ceremonial chamber. The doors opened, and there it was, a raised platform with 2 seats. One was hers, the other was his. "What is this?" he asked, stepping back. She walked toward the center. "A throne." "For who?" "For my life binder." Alex froze. "No," he said. "I never asked for this. I saved a dying girl not to be given power, not to sit on some alien throne." She nodded slowly. "Oh, that's what makes you worthy." He looked around. "This isn't a gift. It's a trap." A voice echoed from above. Female, sharp, venomous, then refuse it. Little human. Alex turned. On the balcony above stood another woman, blue-skinned, like the commander, but taller, colder, draped in chains of gold. Her eyes were not kind. "Sister," the commander said tightly. "You bring shame to our blood," the woman sneered. "You return with a human, speak of ancient bonds, and drag our name into dust." "He carries the vow," she replied. "You know the law?" The sister laughed. "I know the law. I also know how easy it is to break it if the binder dies." Stepped back. "Wait, are you saying she—" "Yes," the commander said. "She is the one who placed the bounty." The sister leaned on the railing. "I won't let a mudblood alien and her pet rewrite our empire. Reject the seat, human, and I'll let you crawl back to your dirt world. But sit. And you die before the sun rises." Alex looked at both of them. 2 women, both powerful, both willing to kill or die for something that started with one act of kindness. He whispered, "I didn't come here to fight. I don't want this." She looked into his eyes. "You never wanted it, but you earned it." Then she walked to the throne, sat without hesitation. Everyone in the room knelt, except him. Later, she found him alone in a quiet corridor. Moonlight. From the palace, ceiling painted her skin in silver. She said nothing for a while, just stood there, watching him stare out at the city. He finally spoke. "I don't belong here." She walked up beside him. "Neither did I. Till someone pulled me from fire and gave me a reason to live." Alex turned. "Why do you care so much about the vow?" "No." She looked down. "Because I was raised to be a weapon. But when you saved me, you gave me something else, a choice. And now, I want to give you the same." Alex stared at the floor. "And if I say no?" he asked. She didn't flinch. "Then I will protect you until the last drop of my blood." "What?" "And when you're safe, I will let the bond fade, even if it kills me." He looked up sharply. "What?" "The vow cannot be broken," she said. "Only passed, or fulfilled." Alex shook his head. "This whole thing is insane." She smiled gently. "It's real." He took a deep breath. "Then I'll sit, not as a ruler, but as someone who wants to stop this before it becomes another war." Her smile faded, replaced by something sharper. "Respect, then prepare. Yourself," she said, "because war has already started." The same night, while the throne chamber sleeps, a bomb is placed under a seat by someone inside her own guard. The throne room was dark and silent. Only one light glowed, the spotlight over the seat where Alex was supposed to sit. No guards, no crowd. Just empty space and a chair with golden joints that shimmered with faint heat. But hidden beneath the seat Pressed into the underside with magnetic clamps sat a small device, blinking red. Elsewhere in the palace, Alex couldn't sleep. He was pacing the private guest chamber they'd given him, high above the city. Windows showed the twin moons of Varelix hovering over sharp towers. The beauty meant nothing to him now. Every step he took, he questioned everything. Why had he agreed to sit on that throne? Why didn't he run when he had the chance? He trust a blue-skinned commander who came back into his life with an army and a vow? Then he remembered her words, "If you die, I carry shame, and if I carry shame, I lose everything." He didn't fully understand her world, but he understood sacrifice. He understood fear. And what he felt now was more than fear. It was the sense that something was coming fast, down in the palace control chamber. The commander stood with her top officers. A new message had come in, encrypted, urgent, and traitorous. She scanned. The symbols, as her second in command, read them aloud. Device planted. Throne room. Human will be removed at dawn. Sue sent this. We're tracing the source. Likely one of the inner guards. She stepped forward. Lock down the palace. Full alert. No one moves without my command. Yes, Commander. Then she turned and ran. Alex heard the alarm before she reached him. Red lights flared in the ceiling. A low siren echoed through the halls. The walls began to shift, sealing doors. Preparing for lockdown. His door slid open. She entered, face sharp as fire. Come with me, she ordered. What's happening? He asked. They tried to kill you. She grabbed his arm and pulled him. Outer guards joined them instantly. The hallway turned into a tunnel of running boots and flashing lights. Who? He asked as they moved. My sister, she growled. And someone inside my own court? They reached the throne room seconds before a tremor shook the floor. A boom erupted from inside, loud, thunderous, the kind that cracks bones. Smoke poured from the chamber doors. When they opened them, flames had eaten the edge of the platform. The second throne, his, was gone. Melted, shattered, guards stared in shock. Alex stood silent. She stepped forward, staring at the wreckage. Then she turned to her people. Find the one who placed it, she said. I want them brought here. Breathing. Later, inside a secure chamber lit only by cold blue light, a captured guard was dragged in, bloodied, bruised, and shaking. He wore the same armor as her elite, but the symbol on his neck marked him differently. Her sister's crest? You served me for 5 years, Commander said, standing over him. You swore loyalty to my blade. He didn't meet her eyes. Your blade was bent by a human. And yours will break for a lie. He spat at her feet. Your bond is weakness. He should have died with the rest of us. We are not meant to kneel. She looked to Alex. Do you wish to pass judgment? Alex stepped forward slowly. Room fell silent. He looked at the man. Why kill me? I didn't take your world. I didn't ask for this. The traitor's voice was cold. Because your blood poisons our future. Alex didn't respond with rage. Just a quiet nod. You're wrong, he said. Because I didn't bring poison. I brought change. He turned to her. I don't want revenge. I want proof that your world is more than just blades and blood. She stared at him, then nodded to her guard. Send him to exile, alone, unarmed. The guard was dragged away, screaming curses. That night, she sat alone with Alex in a high tower room. 2 cups sat untouched between them. You should have died, she said softly. And yet you live. Again. Alex looked at her. You pulled me from that too, like I did for you. She didn't smile. We are even now. He shook his head. No, we're just beginning. We looked at him. Her face unreadable. Then, without warning, she knelt not with shame, but with pride. You carry no blade, she said. Yet every room bends around your presence. I was warborn, trained to kill. But today you taught me something sharper than any weapon. Alex stepped forward, gently pulled her back to her feet. No more kneeling, he said, from either of us. As the sun rises, a new message arrives. Her sister is no longer acting from the shadows. She has claimed the throne in her own province, declared herself supreme commander, and issued one order across the galaxy. Bring me the human, alive or broken. Asterisk, the throne wasn't gold. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't designed to comfort. It was made of bone, long curved fragments from beasts that no longer lived. Fastened with dark iron and scars from wars older than Earth's calendar. When Alex stepped into the grand chamber of Viralex's core palace, he felt it, not power, but weight. The kind of weight that didn't just sit on your shoulders. It crushed you from the inside. This wasn't a seat for a ruler. This was a place for survivors. The room was full. Her, War Council, ambassadors from allied stars. Even machines with blinking glass faces stood in the corners, recording every word. At the center, she stood beside the throne, dressed in battle black, not royal robes, but armor she had worn in real wars. Alex stood beside her, silent, wearing plain dark clothing, nothing grand, and yet every eye in the chamber was on him. Not because he asked for attention, but because he was still breathing, because the bounty hadn't broken him, because she hadn't let him fall. And now, that meant something far greater than either of them had planned. A voice echoed from the circle. By standing beside her. Do you claim her bond? Alex looked to the speaker, an elder alien. Eyes cloudy with age, but filled with challenge. I claim nothing, Alex replied calmly. But I won't walk away. She saved me. I saved her. We've both bled for this. The elder narrowed his gaze. That is not how bonds are answered on this world. The commander stepped forward. Enough. Her voice silenced the room like a falling blade. He never asked for this bond. Didn't grow up in our rituals, our rules. Only knew how to act when someone needed help. She turned to Alex. Do you still carry that instinct? He didn't blink. Yes, then sit, she said, and face what comes. He sat, the bone throne creaked under him, the room shifted. And in that moment, the last pieces of his old life broke away. He was no longer a miner, no longer a soldier, no longer a name no one remembered. Now he was something else, not royalty, not warrior, but a crack in the ancient system that feared anything it could not control. And that crack had just widened. Hours later, the command chamber was in chaos. Her sister's message had reached every system under their family's banner, a formal challenge for succession. A blood trial, not in words. In war, the galaxy was splitting. I thought you were just fighting to protect me, Alex said, as they walked through the war map chamber. Now I see you were holding the whole wall together. She gave him a tired glance. I was never trained to lead, only to win. But now, I must do both. And if you don't, he asked. Then the throne of bone becomes a coffin, she answered. That night, the palace shook with alarms. Enemy ships had entered the inn. Outer orbit. Not just bounty hunters. Her sister had sent a full salt fleet. And they weren't aiming for the throne. They were aiming for Alex. In the panic, power went out across the eastern wing. Alex was rushed by guards through dark stone halls. But something felt wrong. Not fear, but familiarity. As if he had walked this road once before, in the smoke of a battlefield, holding a dying girl in his arms. Suddenly an explosion tore through the sidewall. Metal clashed. Screams followed. A shadow stepped from the fire. Not a beast, not a soldier, but a masked assassin, wrapped in crimson, holding a weapon shaped like a spine. He lunged for Alex, but she was faster. The commander slammed into the assassin, knocking him back. Her arm bled. Her eyes burned. You don't touch him, she growled. They fought like old enemies. She was blade and flame. He was venom and shadow. Alex ducked, grabbed a fallen spear and threw it, hitting the attacker's leg. Not a kill, but enough. Her blade struck. Next the assassin fell. The attack was over, but the message was clear. The war had come home. Later, the throne room, Alex looked at her. You can't protect me forever. I don't have to, she said. She stepped close. Because starting now, I'm not your shield. You're mine. As the palace regroups, a new report comes in. Her sister's final plan has begun. A false message has been sent to Earth, declaring Alex a traitor and war criminal. Now, human ships are on their way to arrest him. They came without warning. 3 human warships, dark and silent, dropped out of hyperspace over Virelix. No banners, no hail, no message. Just their presence, heavy and cold, like a final judgment written in steel. In the throne room, Alex stood. With the blue-skinned commander as reports came in from the outer towers, Earth's fleet has arrived, said her second in command. They are demanding the surrender of one individual. Everyone already knew who. The transmission came through flat, cold, quoted Alexander Reed, charged with unauthorized political interference, suspected collaboration with hostile alien powers, and possible initiation of interstellar conflict. He is to be taken alive for questioning, by force, if necessary. Alex didn't speak. He didn't blink. The commander stepped forward, fists clenched at her sides. How did your own world turn against you? Alex's voice was low, because someone made it look like I'd betrayed them. He turned to her. This is what your sister planned. She knew your people wouldn't be enough. So she turned mine against me. She looked at him, steady and sharp. Then we fight them too. He shook his head. No. If you fire on Earth's ships, this becomes a war. No one wins. Silence filled the room. He looked around her generals, her advisors. Even her soldiers were watching him now. He wasn't one of them, but somehow they waited for his decision. I'll go, he said finally. The commander's eyes narrowed. That's not an option. He took a step toward her. If I stay, your world burns. If I go, maybe there's a chance. She didn't move. Then quietly she said, You once saved me from a fire. Let me return the debt. Alex looked at her. You already have. She turned to her guards. Prepare my shuttle. He frowned. What are you doing? Her voice didn't shake. I'm taking you to them myself. The ship rose from Virelex. Under full shield, the human fleet waited above, locked and ready. Inside the small command pod, Alex sat in silence while the commander stood by the controls. No weapons, no guards, just the two of them in the final moment. Neither could stop. They think I'm one of theirs, he said. But I'm not sure anymore. She glanced at him. Then what are you? He turned to her, his voice calm, but unshaken. I'm something new. The human flagship opened its bay. The shuttle landed in silence. Inside, rows of human officers stood with weapons ready. Alex stepped out first, hands raised. Behind him, she followed, unarmed, glowing. Blue under the ship lights, eyes locked on the commander of the human force. Gasps followed, whispers. The soldiers had seen aliens before, but not one like her. Alex walked forward until he faced the human captain. Do you see a criminal? He asked. Or just someone who lived long enough to understand both sides? The captain didn't answer. The commander stepped beside Alex. He stood between war and peace. If you punish that, your empire is already lost. One human soldier raised his weapon. The commander moved slightly, ready to strike if needed. But Alex stepped forward again and dropped to one knee. Not in surrender, but in choice. Take me, he said, but leave her world in peace. Room fell silent. Then something unexpected happened behind him. The blue-skinned commander stepped forward, and she knelt too, not in defeat. In unity, she placed her hand on his shoulder and spoke, clear and strong. I kneel not to man, but to meaning. The human soldiers didn't move. The captain stared at the two kneeling figures, one human, one alien, both willing to break for something greater than power. Then slowly, he gave the order no one expected. Stand down. Weapons lowered. Alex looked up, confused. What does that mean? The captain stepped forward. You may not belong to any one world anymore, but that's exactly why we need you alive. Later, as the stars turned overhead, 2 ships parted. The human fleet returned to orbit. No war, no arrest, no shot fired. Inside the alien shuttle, Alex sat across from her once more. You didn't have to kneel, he said softly. She looked out the window. Neither did you. They sat in silence for a while. Then she turned to him. Where do you go now? He met her gaze. Wherever you're going. Back on Varelix, the throne still stood, sharp, ancient, waiting. Two figures entered. Not one to rule, but two together, and across two galaxies, the story spread. The human who knelt without fear, the alien who rose beside him, and how they didn't break the old order.